and welcome to Jen's Ink Spot. Today I want to show you a die that has been released with Little Inker Designs February 2017 release, and this is called the color blocking die. As you can see, it's a very simple die, and when I first received it, I wasn't quite sure how to use it or what the best way was to use it. But once I figured out the trick, this die is going to be so fun. And it's an essential, I think, for your paper crafting. And I'm going to show you why. I want to share with you this card that I made for this release. And it uses quite a few new products, but what I want to focus on is the background. As you can see, I've used 3 different colors of patterned paper. And I've put them all together, and the way that I cut them was using this die. If I were to line them up on this card, you could see how I cut them. Now, when I first started, my frustration with this die was that I couldn't figure out how I was going to get all 3 pieces of paper to line up so that they could be butted together and that they matched up perfectly. And I struggled with that. And one of my teammates, Chrissy Larson, told me that what she did was she cut all 3 pieces of paper at the same time with one pass through her die cut machine. Once I tried that, it was a game changer, and it made using this die so easy. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So here is my card base. And I've chosen 3 pieces of patterned paper. And I've cut them so that when I put them on my card, there's going to be a little border showing all the way around. So they're a little bit smaller than the card front. Now there's so many different orientations that you can use on this die. In fact, I will just show you right now. So you can use this die so that you have a large piece on this side, but you can angle it at so many different angles, and it changes the way that your card front is going to look. Hopefully you can envision this. Now you can also change it by how much you leave in these quadrants over here. You can see as I go down the difference. So not only can you choose this side over here, but you're also going to be choosing how much pattern paper or cardstock is going to show for each one. Now you can also orient this card a different way. And before I cut this, I want to just show you, here's a card front that I made. You could use the same design 4 different ways. So you could use it the way that you're seeing it now, with this striped paper at the bottom. You could turn it so that the striped paper is on the left, and then you have a totally different look. You can turn it so the striped paper is at the top, and you can turn it so that the striped paper is in the top right-hand corner. So there's 4 different layouts that you could use this one card front, just depending on how you turned your card. In fact, I went through, this is a really, really rough draft. I looked at the design team and how everyone had used the layouts right before I did this video, and these were just a few of the ones that I saw. Some people use just 1 piece, some people use 2 pieces, some people use 3 pieces, but they're all at different angles, so many different ways. Like even Chrissy and Jessica's here. Chrissy used a smaller piece up here in this corner, but Jessica made hers larger, and it just makes the card look different. Okay, so back to these 3 pieces here. The way that you can use this die is first you're going to try and figure out, okay, how do I want this die to cut? And then once you figure that out, I like to take a piece of Post-it note tape. This one's been used several times, but I just tape down where I want the angle to be, and then I take another piece and just use this to adhere the pieces together. And then I'm going to run it through my Big Shot. Once I take all of the pieces off, this is what I have. and I put it through my Big Shot. I made 2 or 3 passes just to make sure that the cut went all the way through, and it did. I didn't have any issues with that. So now I can play around with how I want my pieces to look, and you'll see that they perfectly butt up against each other so that you don't have a gap. They're perfectly cut, so they match up perfectly. It's such a good tip from Chrissy. Then some of our design team members, I love what they did, and they left a gap in between each of their pieces. There you can see how it would line up if you left a little gap, which I think is a wonderful look. Now you can also do 2 pieces of paper. So here I've taken 2 different pieces of pattern paper. I put them through my Big Shot on top of each other, just like I showed you. And then you can put them down on your card front. You can butt them right up against each other like that. Or you could leave a little bit of a gap like that. Here is a card that I've already started. And here's my extra pieces, which is nice because then I can always make 2 or 3 cards using the same cut. And this is only 2 pieces of pattern paper. And it's the same design that I just showed you, except that when I cut my paper, I left a larger space around the edge. And then I stamped here so that you can have a little bit of a sentiment. And then this cat, I'm not 100% sure where she'll go, but it could go down here, it could go up here, it could go down in the corner, and then I'll probably add some little sentiment strip just to play off of this. Then the last way, and of course there's other ways, but the last way I'm going to show you is just how you can use just 1 piece of pattern paper. And so here is an example of again, a card I haven't finished. But the beautiful thing about this is here is the matching piece of paper that goes with this. And I had already cut something out of the side. But with this die, you can take and decide where you want to cut. And you can get this piece as big or as small as you want it. You could go like really small, like just cut out this piece here. You could go so that you cut out corner to corner. You could go so that you have more up here at top. And so then here is what the product of that is. Here's a card that was a little bit more work with just 1 piece of paper. And what I did is I used this cover-up die from Little Inkers called Diamond Lace. And if you don't have these dotted cover dies, I love them. I highly recommend them. They just add so much beauty to a card. I use, to get out all my little dots, I use this tool by Spellbinders called the Tool-in-One. I have a video on my YouTube channel about how to use it if you'd like to check that out. But for this card, I wanted to line up my bird paper here with this long row of dots. So what I did was I took a piece of washi tape that wasn't very sticky. It didn't have a lot of tack to it, and I put it right at the edge of this line. And then I laid my pattern paper on top of it, and I lined my die up. My washi tape, I had a little bit over the edges, so I knew exactly where to line it up. I put this paper then on top of that washi tape using the edges as my guide, and then I taped this down on my pattern paper with my Post-it note tape, and I cut it. And this is what happened. It cut out perfectly to match that line there. I didn't have to think about it, and then I trimmed just a tad bit off so that I could get those 2 dots showing as well. Makes it super, super simple. I didn't have to try and guess the angles on my paper trimmer and ruin my paper. This just made it a breeze. The best thing about this is that it is only $11.95 in the Little Inker Design store, and it is going to be one of your best friends. As you know, diagonal cards you see everywhere, and this die is just genius. Simple, but genius. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I thank you for joining me at Jen's Ink Spot. Have a great day.